All around the world, there are hidden houses with unique designs and vibrant colors. Whether they're located in the middle of the jungle or built right into the edge of a cliff, it seems that for some reason, these homes didn't want to be discovered. Today, we'll be taking a look at 15 of the most unbelievable hidden homes. Number 15. Guarujá Rainforest House. Where better to kick things off than in the jungle? The Rainforest House in Guarujá, Brazil is the ultimate hidden home and truly a tropical dream come true. It's sitting on the mountainside overlooking the Atlantic Ocean and surrounded by lush and thick greenery on three sides. Designed by Studio MK27, they wanted this home to look like it's part of the jungle itself. And man oh man did they deliver on that. As you make your way up to this jungle abode, you walk up the stone steps with gorgeous plants on both sides and come up to the concrete wooden structure that looks like it was built by a more advanced Tarzan. The interior has a more contemporary look so the residents won't miss their urban lives too much, but when you come up to the roof, that's where the magic really is. The roof of the Guarujá Rainforest House holds 2 levels of decks, where the upper level has a small green area that grows a little less wild than the surrounding jungle, and the lower deck holds the infinity pool, hot tub, and fire pit. When you're in this house, it's pretty hard not to feel like a main character in the Jungle Book. Number 14. Santana House. Hiding quietly in the Valle de Bravo region of Mexico is the Santana House. It's a single-story home made entirely of wood and stone that lets it blend almost perfectly into the natural surroundings. Built by the local firm CC Arquitectos, the Santana House was built using all-natural materials like weathered stone and even locally milled timber to keep things in harmony with nature. And a single tall tree stands in the middle of the front courtyard as a gentle reminder that you're one with Mother Earth at all times. The entire property sits on a nice 5,300 square feet of space, all across just one floor. The interior boasts slab stone flooring, timber beams above, and plenty of rustic wooden furniture, again all made with local natural materials. If a home could be as organic as your groceries, then the Santana House would fit the bill. All of the walls in the Santana House are made out of stone as well, matching the home's exterior, and a nice stretch of glass windows bring light and life into the space, making it feel like you've brought the woods into the home. There's also the garden outside, full of regional plants, a reflection pool, and the coveted hot tub for when you want some of the finer comforts without sacrificing the serenity of the woods. Number 13. Castile Creek Retreat. It's pretty clear that the best place to hide a home is amongst the green landscape, but just because you've got a home in the forest doesn't mean it has to be small. Sometimes a castle is better than cozy, and that's the case with the Castile Creek Retreat in Colorado, United States. This place is absolutely amazing and the forest compound of your dreams. The main house is 3,350 square feet across 8 bedrooms and 10 bathrooms, and the 2 guest houses still offer well over 5,000 and 3,000 square feet of space respectively. That's more than anyone could ever ask for, so talk about some lucky guests. The Castile Creek Retreat sits on 250 acres of real estate and is surrounded by another 2 million acres of national forest. Yeah, 2 million acres of gorgeous protected land. Normally, a place like this would leave the neighbors jealous, but in this case, there are no neighbors. Just you and all of the little woodland critters and the trout in the pond out back. This is the perfect place to drop off the face of the earth for a bit, as long as you can afford the $78 million asking price. Number 12. Floating Seahorse. The next hidden house on our list is extra special, and probably the most unique I've seen yet. Dubai is home to some pretty extravagant real estate, and their floating seahorse is one of the most cutting-edge properties they have to offer. This floating home is built in the World Islands, the man-made islands meant to mimic a map of the world. Designed by the Kleindienst Group, these homes on the water took more than 5,000 hours of research and another 13,000 hours of design and engineering to get it just right. Because what good is a house on water if it sinks? The plans for these floating seahorses were announced in 2016, and the hype was very real, with 60 units having been sold before they were even complete. And how much is each one of these seahorse houses going for? Well, you're looking at about $12 million. But these homes are like icebergs because so much of the structure is hidden underneath the crystal clear waters, which is where you'll also find the master bedroom and bathroom across 270 square feet. And to make things a little more interesting, the sublevel features floor-to-ceiling windows where you'll be able to look out at your own personal 500 square foot coral garden. You'll never again have to worry about dogs using your lawn as a bathroom again. Number 11. Mirage House, Greece. There are plenty of different ways to hide a house. You can hide amongst the rocks or behind the trees, but sometimes it's best to simply hide in plain sight. But how exactly can a house do that? Well, why not make it appear as a trick of the light like the Mirage House in Greece? This home is located on the gorgeous and exotic Greek island of Tinos. But good luck finding the place because it was designed to look like an invisible oasis. The Mirage House is just one story tall, but it's built right on the edge of a cliff to give the homeowners and their lucky guests some of the most stunning views on the entire island. Every morning, you're greeted by the sun rising over the nearly mythical Aegean Sea. In all, the Mirage House offers just over 2,100 square feet of space and quite literally blends into the surroundings. And aside from being built right onto the rock face, the top of the house is a full-on rimless pool, which reflects the sunlight perfectly, giving this hidden home its mirage effect. And there's no denying that although simple, the design is quite brilliant. And as you approach the home, it's set up so that the only part of the structure you'll see is the reflecting pool, so seeing isn't always believing. So we've all lost our keys at some point, but imagine not being able to find your own house. Number 10. Vivos Europa 1. Vivos Europa 1 is one of the most unique hidden homes in the world, which is no easy task. So what then exactly sets it apart from the forest mansions and the homes sitting under the ocean's surface? Well, millionaires and billionaires need to go somewhere when the world is ending, and that's why the team at Vivos created Europa 1 in Germany. Built about 400 feet deep into a mountain, this doomsday shelter is more of an underground mansion than it is a bunker. Vivos Europa 1 is an invitation-only 5-star underground luxury complex with over 16,000 square feet of some of the best private living quarters money can buy. Anyone lucky enough to get the invitation can hire their own architects and contractors to design and build their own personal quarters however they see fit. That is, as long as they get it done before the world comes to an end. Vivos Europa 1 was actually built by the former Soviet Union during the Cold War as a fortress for military equipment and munitions should the war warm up a little too much. As we all know, that never happened, and the Cold War luckily ended with a whimper. The fortress was inherited by the German government, and because of its location near a major public highway, the plans to keep it as a munitions storage were scrapped. Instead, a wealthy investor quickly nabbed the property and converted it into the yacht-like deep subterranean getaway it is today. Number 9. Juniper House. What better way to hide your house in the woods than by covering it in photos of the surroundings? That's exactly what Stockholm-based architects Hans Moman and Ulla Alberts thought when they designed their beloved Juniper House. It may be tough, but you can find the Juniper House on the island of Gotland in the Baltic Sea. This forest home came with an interesting condition that led to its unique design. The local authorities stated that no modern architecture could ever be built here if it's going to spoil the gorgeous natural landscape. And it was that unique stipulation that gave way to this hidden home. The house quite literally disappears within the grove of its vinyl cloth facade that stretches around the building's entire timber frame, which makes for one of the most fun games of hide-and-seek you'll ever experience. And while the idea of a perfectly camouflaged facade may sound a little silly, it works quite well and only makes you appreciate the interiors even more. Sliding doors connect the forest with the awesome wood-clad and stone interior that gives off the perfect Scandinavian vibes, and the huge windows and inner courtyard really help you reconnect with nature while still keeping you safe, warm, and cozy. Number 8. Edgeland House. Sometimes you want to live life out on the edge, and luckily the Edgeland House in Texas is the perfect place to do that. This Texan abode is designed by Bercy Chen Studio and hides right in the land itself. From far off, the Edgeland House doesn't look any different from a thick, grassy knoll. In fact, if you didn't know the exact address, then chances are you'd just keep walking. That's how hidden it is. It's a sunken property that gets inspiration from the old vernacular houses across North America. The structure is quite literally groundbreaking and was dug right into the earth itself. But there's more to this geographical choice than meets the eye, because while it may look great when you get up close and personal, the Edgeland house is able to use the heat of the earth to keep everybody at the perfect temperature and still lets in the perfect amount of light. It's about as close to living in a luxury hobbit hole as you're gonna get. It's one of the most private homes on this list, even for a hidden house. And while the interior furnishings are off the hook, it's the outdoor courtyard that really shines because it gives off a true inside-out feeling because the entire space is fully protected. The Edgeland house is very minimalistic and does its best not to disturb the land in which it resides. Number 7. Casa Brutale. We can't let hidden forest gems have all the fun. Even folks living in the drier climates of the deserts want to feel off the grid, too. The Casa Brutale in Beirut isn't just one unbelievable hidden home. It could very well be one of the coolest homes in the world. That's because this futuristic abode isn't just built right into the cliffside. It's practically dangling off of it. Casa Brutale has some killer views overlooking the ocean, but just make sure you don't look down because this one is pretty high up. The icing on the cake here, other than the floor-to-ceiling windows and prime location, is the glass-bottom pool that sits on the roof. So that means anyone inside the house is going to get a prime view of their friends going for a dip, and anyone in the pool can swim down to the bottom to check that they've turned the oven off. And of course, the pool is going to give off an awesome cascading effect in the house itself. The designers of Casa Brutale went for simple materials like wood, concrete, and the obvious glass to make it blend into the smooth sandy terrain in which it's built. The home sits in the middle of nowhere, so having a car is a must, but don't worry about finding a parking spot in this desert oasis, because Casa Brutale has an underground parking area large enough for 3 cars. Number 6. Cliff Haven. The Cliff Haven house looks like the perfect space for your modern Stone Age family. Nestled nice and snug into the rocks of Montezuma Canyon in the gorgeous state of Utah, this aptly named hidden haven in the cliffs looks pretty remote, and it feels pretty remote. But it's only a 20-minute drive away from the closest town. So while you're provided all of the luxuries that comes with living in such a stone-faced seclusion, all of the perks and amenities of the modern world are still within reach. It's hard to tell from the outside, but Utah's Cliff Haven encompasses 2,100 square feet of space. And the interiors themselves have a nice south-of-the-border feel to them and offer your typical 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. Then there's the 3-car garage for your town car and dune buggies. And while the Cliff Haven is by no means a mansion, it's the entire property itself that's the biggest seller here, because the owner has the surrounding 12 acres of red rock to themselves. It's yet another home that's hidden in plain sight, and if the neighbors want to come by and ask for a cup of sugar, they're going to need to make that mile walk first. But then finding the place is a task unto itself too. Number 5. Wishing Park Estate. Alright, you've thrown a penny into a wishing well, but what about the Wishing Park Estate in southeast England? Okay, so while you may not want to toss some loose change in, here you'll feel like your wishes come true once you've seen it. But seeing it is the hard part, because this home is pretty tough to find when you're coming at it head-on. If not from the inside, the best way to see this one is from a bird's eye view where you'll see almost everything it has to offer. The rest is still hidden inside. The Wishing Park Estate is almost completely subterranean, situated in the rolling green hills of Hampshire, making it look embedded into the landscape. The secret estate sits on a total of 43 acres of land, which includes multiple lakes that are great for fishing and private woodlands. If you want to get a whiff of the great outdoors, you really don't need to go very far. And despite living underground, the angles and design of the home allow it to capture all of that natural light without overheating. Number 4. Rooftop Mall Villas. This next one is a funky one, and it's built more out of a necessity than a design. China is the most populated country in the world, and many of the major cities are running out of space as the numbers of citizens continue to rise. So then where do all of those people go? Well, if you're living in the Shenyang province of Hunan, China, look no further than the mall. But not inside the mall, on top of it. It may be a bit unorthodox, but one local mall built a total of 25 villas on the roof for many of the mall's employees, and they're all painted quite colorfully too. But the only people who will ever know are the ones that actually go up there. This isn't the type of neighborhood you can see from the street. But it would seem that they take a page out of the stereotypical American dream for some design inspiration, with their Germanic pastiche, bright yellow walls, and blue-tiled roofs, all complete with white picket fences surrounding green lawns and hedges. The existence of these homes is so unbelievable that even the local authorities have insisted on demolishing the neighborhood because it was built without a permit. Number 3. High Desert House. The San Diego-based Kendrick Bangs Kellogg is one of the best in the world, and in 1986 he was commissioned to build the High Desert House. And while he may have found the perfect place to build the structure, the real trouble for the rest of us will be finding the home itself. The High Desert House is on the outskirts of the trippy, alien-loving region of Joshua Tree, but looks a lot more like a home to the Freemen on the planet Arrakis. Plenty of time and effort went into making this hidden home, and once the structure itself was completed, another designer spent the next 14 years meticulously crafting all of the furniture by hand, which adopts somewhat of a Cold War-era sci-fi feel mixed with the Flintstones of tomorrow. And at the end of the day, much of the house has been able to stand the test of time and reflect more modern architecture. The entire project took nearly 30 years to complete, with the home being 5,000 square feet and sitting on a 10-acre plot of desert, nice and snug between the massive boulders. That flat panel roof is what makes the high desert blend right into the scenery, like it's the product of millions of years of erosion. Number 2. Villa Valls. Sometimes you just want to relax and get in touch with nature, but without having to rough it in a tent. So one of the best places to achieve that is the Villa Valls in the hilly Swiss landscape. Another hidden home that looks an awful lot like a modern hobbit hole, Villa Valls is unique because it's been dug right into the mountainside near the Therme Valls hot springs. The idea behind the design is to build something semi-futuristic while maintaining the local ecosystem. But Villa Valls does better and manages to be a part of the surroundings themselves. Part of the leave no trace state of mind means no new road. So how do you drive up to Villa Valls? Another tunnel was dug through the mountain that takes you straight to the home's barn. The entire underground operation gives Elon Musk a run for his money. But just because Villa Valls is a subterranean home doesn't mean that it skimps out on the views. The home slopes upwards to face the mountain range, and you'll be able to see the sun each morning as it plays peekaboo over the mountains. And the best part, Villa Valls serves as a holiday rental, meaning we can all enjoy this hidden home given the opportunity. Number 1. Woolbrook Reservoir. So what could possibly be the world's most unbelievable hidden home? Look no further than the Woolbrook Reservoir in Devon in the UK. This home takes things to new depths. Originally a water reservoir in southeast England, the Woolbrook Reservoir was converted into a $1 million 5-bedroom house with plenty of glass walls that go straight into the earth. It's actually a great way to employ the old adage, out with the old and in with the new. And if you didn't know this home was here, then chances are you'd just keep walking. The home's interiors are all centered around the main courtyard, which is fully exposed and allows all of that natural English sunlight to flood in. The Woolbrook Reservoir keeps an incredibly low profile, carefully hiding the spiral staircase that leads to the master bedroom. And while this subterranean home looks great on the inside, the natural look of the outside is also due in part to the raised pond and garden. But the best part is that the Woolbrook Reservoir is totally secluded, surrounded by acres of woodlands to be explored. Watch our binge-watching playlist if you'd like to watch all of our most popular top 15 videos. Grab a drink, grab a snack, and get ready to binge.